Patrick. He's good at that. Yeah. I did not. I asked you one, but you were, yeah, I got some for me. I'm a very rude service leader. Happy New Year. Thank you. Welcome to our first Sunday of the new year. That's, lots of possibilities to go. So now's the time to silence all your little devices, to relax. Remember to use a microphone when you're speaking so that those that we're streaming live to, I'm sure there's a few, can hear. And choose what you share wisely, since it'll be heard by the entire universe. It happens to be tuned in this morning. So do we have any committee chairs or people that need to make an announcement about something coming up? We usually set aside a little time for that. Anything from membership? I have one from hospitality, but I'll wait.
I want you to be alone up here.
Thank you.
Margie from
Membership.
Committee on Shared Membership.
Ministry.
Thank you.
Yes, that's okay. She's also the membership chair, so you can
yes.
see how that happened.
Those of us who are in the committee have these pretty little badges. That's John Irie, Paula Despang, Carrie Mitchell, Barry London, and me. If you have any issues that you want to bring up that you find problematic with any of the other members, with the leadership, you can bring them to us and we will try to smooth the waters and help us maintain our covenant with each other. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Are you coming up to make an announcement? No. From hospitality, we are going to have a potluck on the 15th this month. Because our first Sunday is, New Year's, and we weren't sure how many people would show up. And I'm so grateful you all are here. We're going to have potluck on the 15th, which makes our minister happy because she's speaking that Sunday. So y'all be looking forward to announcement. I'm not sure what the theme will be, but bring something wonderful to eat and enough to share. So pardon? Food, the food and fellowship. That works for me. So I think that's all. I don't see anyone else here. I can't think of anything else I should be letting you know about as president of these, so we'll move forward. My opening words this morning are from Sylvia Howe. We bid you welcome on this first Sunday of the new year. Like Janice, we gather with part of us looking backward, and part of us looking forward. We gather on the edge of the new year, saddened by our losses, cherishing our joys, aware of our failures, mindful of days gone by. We gather on the cusp of this new year, eager to begin anew, hopeful for what lies ahead, promising to make changes, anticipating tomorrows and tomorrows. We invite you to join our celebration of life, knowing that life includes good and bad, endings and beginnings. We bid you welcome this morning. Our opening music, we are going to try this. I will go hit a key. I'm not going to hit a key, I'm just going to pick one. I think that y'all know this. It's a longtime Unitarian hymn. Let's sing it through twice. I'm going to stand a little away from the microphone, but it's gathered here. How many of you know that? Lindsay does. I think all of you will know it when you hear it, maybe. So Lindsay knows everything. Lindsay, come up here and sing with me. She has a beautiful voice. So you can stand by the microphone. We'll stand together over here. All right, let's stand up and get some energy going. We're going to sing it through twice. That by the second time you'll have it. Okay, ready? Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near. Great, louder. Gathered here in the mystery Wonderful. I had originally thought about doing it as a round, but I'm sure you're all grateful I didn't try that. It's too early? Yes, yes. So our chalice lighter this morning is going to be my daughter Abigail, because she's here visiting from Tennessee, and I can give you a real match. Well, pretty sure.
Nope, you can't give me a match.
Okay.
So few do.
There she goes. So she's staying an extra week with me because her car needed some work. So it's a blessing and a struggle, just like it said. So please join me with the words on the screen. In the light of warmth, the truth, in the light to seek, to sustain, and to share. And remember, our congregation is more about love than perfection. Thank you, Sarah Sullivan. The affirmation. Let's start our year off really taking these words to heart. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to help one another. Amen. So welcome again. Let's take a moment to wave to our online friends. I'm sure we have some, right, Patrick? A few. So good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us online, and thank you again to all you who are here. So take just a moment and maybe say hi to someone you don't know. We have a couple of visitors this morning. So take a moment and introduce yourself to someone you don't know. Or just wave at everybody in general. All right. All right. We are grateful you're all here this morning to start the new year off right. And hopefully you'll return and take some time to get to know us, because there's a lot to know here. And so come more than once, get a little familiar, and I hope you'll like us. I don't see how you could not. You know? Every Sunday we set a time aside for joys and concerns so that we can celebrate with those who have a joy and hold those who have a concern close in our hearts. So if you would like to share something, please come forward to the microphone and share.
Hi, my name is Ender, and I have a joy that I recently got my ears pierced.
Oh.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I have one of those mixed joys and concerns. Our son is going to start his first co-op internship in Phoenix in January, which is wonderful. It's the one that he was hoping for, and so we're really proud of him. He and his buddy are going to be there for 6 months, and on Tuesday they drive from Orlando to Phoenix. And so if you could hold them in your hearts during the drive. Sending two 19-year-old boys out in a car is concerning.
Good morning. Happy New Year. I'm Peter, and I have also a mixed review of my joys and concerns. Every year for the last 15 years or so, I move into a cottage in our backyard and do a meditation retreat all by myself. And so this year, I look forward to it for months every year. But this year, it gets mixed reviews because there was a freeze right in the middle of the whole thing. And so I had about 5 days of nice meditation time, and then Paula and I scrambled around and covered all our plants, or most of our plants, so they wouldn't freeze. And then the freeze came, Christmas present, and then a day or so after that, scramble around and uncover all my plants. And so I had about a 4-day interval of meditating after that. But I very much enjoy these retreats and look forward to them every year. And I may even do another one this spring in March. So we'll see. I wish you well. Yes, actually we saved our mango tree. It was already blooming, and it's still blooming. Ha ha ha. And we saved our pineapples too. We had 3 pineapples that were coming ripe, and they did not freeze. So
Raccoons always got all my pineapples. I never gave up after a while.
Hi, I'm Amanda. So I come to you with some awful sad news. My brother passed away December 24th. And it's really hard for my family. I'll be visiting them in New Orleans, so I have yet to get a plane ticket. I'm trying to wait and determine what's going on there. So if you would just please hold in your hearts and thoughts, peaceful thoughts, and sympathy for my family. That would be great. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Anastasia, and I have a joy that I have a polished rock. I got it from the airport in Washington, D.C.
Very nice. Thank you.
From online, we have one from Karen Cowden. Our joy was we had a delightful December in Colorado. There were no issues with our flights, and my nephew is coming to visit tomorrow. Our concern is all those who are still struggling to get home.
I will end with one final joy. My daughter Abigail graduated officially and is going to be awarded her master's degree on March 4th. So we will be hoping to get to New Orleans for that. So she is currently teaching 8th grade English, so good thoughts for her every day. Right. Let's take a moment of silence to hold those shared joys and concerns in our heart, and also the wider world, which is full of so many. Thank you. Thank you. Did you go get a basket? Just put it on top. So for this morning's interlude and offering, we're going to watch a video of one of my favorite Unitarian Universalists, Leah Harris, who has a unique way of looking at the world. But accepting an offering is a way for us to support our church home and also to share our resources with organizations whose values align with ours. So our Social Action Committee has elected to continue supporting the ACLU of Florida for this first quarter because they're doing a lot of good work to support our values in the larger world, and we think that's important. So please give as generously as you are inspired as we listen to Leah Harris. And we do have baskets. Shall we pass them? I'll help you. While just with not having RE, it's very we miss them. They take care of all this without thinking. So let's just enjoy this music from Leah.
There is no roadmap for these times, but if you want to ease your mind, you gotta look inside. You gotta look inside. There is no roadmap for these days, but if you want to find some grace, you gotta look inside. You gotta look inside. You gotta look inside. You gotta look inside. I know your heart is crying, please, but if you want to find some peace, you gotta look inside. You gotta look inside. You gotta look inside. You gotta look inside. You look into the stars above, but you got all you need, and that is love. Look inside. You gotta look inside. You gotta look inside. You gotta look inside. Come on and look inside. You gotta look inside. Come on and look inside.
Do you want to be sung out this morning, Anastasia, or are you going to stay with us? I think it'd be good if you stayed with us, since there's nobody back there. So we will not do the children's recessional today. It's now my honor to present one of our own members, retired Reverend Michael Richards, to lead us in a New Year's reflection. And I believe, as Leah said, we will be looking inside.
Had you all wondering, didn't it? Good morning. Happy New Year to you all. I'm glad that you are here with us this morning and that it's been a good, safe morning and safe New Year so far. Well, welcome to 2023. The new year arrived roughly 10 3/4 hours ago. Did you all stay up and welcome the new year in? Some did. So some people welcomed the new year in the traditional way. Some people went to parties. Judith and I went to a party last night, but we were home by 9 o'clock. Didn't want to be out on the road later. Some people have a special meal. Actually, my ex and I, we had a tradition on New Year's, we would have lobster. So as midnight arrived, the poor lobster disappeared into the pot, and we enjoyed eating lobster freshly cooked. For those who watch the events on television and celebrated at a party or at home, what thoughts went through your mind? Was 2022 your Annus Horribilis? You may be wondering what Annus Horribilis is. Very good. A horrible year. Yes, well done. In 1992, the late Queen Elizabeth II announced in a speech that she gave in the Guildhall in London, "She's 1992 is not a year on which I shall look back with undiluted pleasure." In the words of one of my more sympathetic correspondents, it has turned out to be an Annus Horribilis. I suspect that I am not alone in thinking so. Indeed, I suspect there are very few people or institutions unaffected by these last months of worldwide turmoil and uncertainty. Could she have been talking in advance about this last year that we have just come through, 2022? Annus Horribilis, a horrible year. Was 2022 your Annus Horribilis, in one way or another? For the Queen, it was a year when she saw the then Prince Charles, now King Charles III, and Lady Diana at war with one another. And the Duke and Duchess of York, her younger son, Prince Andrew, and Sarah Ferguson, separated that year. Princess Anne divorced that year. And Windsor Castle, the Queen's favorite home, went up in flames. I hope that this past year has not been as traumatic for you. Whatever caused you distress this past year, how did you handle it? Was it in a way that sort of made you feel really good? Or are you thinking that, perhaps I could have handled it a little bit better? Whatever it was, did it raise your anxiety level? Did you feel that the higher your anxiety went, the more you found that the decisions that you had to make were based more on subjective feelings and were aimed more at sort of relieving the discomfort rather than solving the problem? Even if it was within your power to solve the problem, which of course not everything was. Whichever way it was, the question is for you this morning, are you ready to let it go? Whatever you carried that was not good last year, are you ready to let it go? We have a great opportunity ahead of us. 2023 is here. I have to remember that when I write. Do people write checks anymore? I write a few, but not many. I always have to remember that at the beginning of the first couple of months. No, it's the wrong year. Change it out. But we need to let go. If we're going to move forward successfully, those things that have burdened us in this last year, we can learn from them. We don't forget them, but we learn from them and we move forward. We can't change the past, we know that. But we can make a difference in the present. And therefore we can be instrumental in changing the future. So this morning, what I would like for you to do, and can I have my volunteers to come down, please? I got some volunteers this morning. Could you make sure that everybody gets a piece of paper and a pencil? It's thin paper, it's tissue paper, so don't press too hard. Thank you. And what I'd like you to do this morning is to write down on that paper what you want to give up. Oh, yes. I'm hearing comments already. That's hard, isn't it? What do you want to give up? What are you ready to put in the past as you move forward into 2023? And for those of you who are at home watching us through social media, I invite you to do the same thing. Find a piece of paper or a scrap of something to write down what you are willing to give up, and then fold it in half and put it aside. And at the end of the service, we are going to take all these pieces of paper and we're going to burn them outside in the memorial garden. But I ask that you find a way to get rid of the paper that you have as well. Anything that you are willing to give up from last year? You're willing to give up the paper? No, I'm giving you a piece of paper. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. You can't forget about the service. That's right. Thank you. It doesn't have to be something tangible. No. It's it could be a bad habit that you've picked up during the year. It could be an attitude. It could be a disagreement that you had with a friend or a neighbor or whatever it is that's sort of weighing you down, making you feel bad about last year. To write that down and to be willing to give it up. We have a great opportunity ahead of us as we move into the new year. And we can do that if we're not weighted down with things that from the past. It doesn't mean to say we forget them, but we learn from them, and then we move on forward. Have you all had a chance to write stuff down? If you have, rather than have somebody come around with a basket and collect them, I actually want you to get up and physically bring them forward and put them in this black bowl. And you can bring the pencils back and put them in the box behind them. But to bring that down, if you can't come down for one reason or other, just raise your hand and we'll bring the bowl to you. Fold them up. Nobody's going to look at them. It's just between you and the universe. And the paper, yes. All right. Now I'll admit, I'm bad. I was going to ask you to do something else as well while you were down here. Pick up a rock. So now you get another chance for more exercise. Come on down and pick up one of the rocks off the table. Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you in a minute. Take the rock and go and have your seat again. These stones come from a good place, good memories associated with our church. They came from Beth Keating's house. Kiefer's house, sorry. I met her a few times. I really didn't know her that well, but it's nice that we were able to have a part of Beth here with us today in our ceremony. Take a look at your stone. I'm going to ask you to take this home with you, and you'll notice that some of the stone is smooth. Some of it feels nice and comfortable in your hand. Mine here has a rough edge to it on one of its faces. Notice those things. Notice the cracks. Notice the corners and the dents in the rock. That's what life's going to be like this year. We're going to have, well, if it's all smooth all the way around, great indication, But there are corners that we have to turn. There's corners on the rocks. They may be smooth, but you still have to make a turn at some point around the rock. We have the rough edges, the rough places. Mine sparkles at me, the rough piece. A piece of the rock has been chipped off and it's sparkling underneath. That's going to remind me that despite the roughness of life, there's a sparkle there. There's the spark of life, even within the rough edges. And so think about your rock as you take it home with you. Put it somewhere where you can not throw it at somebody when you get angry with the situation. Do not throw. But let it remind you that this coming year is going to have its ups and downs. It's going to have its smooth spaces. Feels good. There are some cultures that have worry stones. And you have one, Anastasia, that you picked up. This one feels really good when I just rub my thumb over it. It's a calming thing as well for us. So think about your stone and let it remind you of what is ahead of us. Smooth passages, corners we have to turn, things we're going to have to look out for, the sharp edges. All of those things are coming up for us, but we can make it. We can sail through this year, and we can be strong. Part of what we need to remember is that our attitude is everything. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and go, do I have to get up out of bed today? Yes, I do. Even though I'm retired, yes, I have to get up out of bed. But there are things that are there. It all starts here. Peter and I were talking this morning about how we are many and varied and wide. But if we realize that we're all brothers and sisters, and when we finally realize that and decide to work together, all of these different faith symbols that are part of who we are as Unitarians, Universalists, all of those don't matter because we all basically believe the same thing. We're here to look after one another. And as we move forward into the new year, we can do that. We can do that with gladness, with grace. Sometimes when I get up in the morning, I don't really feel like that, but once I get going, I'm okay. I always remember the children's story of the train that was struggling to pull up a hill. And it said, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. And it did. It got to the top and it went back down again. I think I can. Keep that in mind as we move forward. May your stone remind you that 2023 will progress along its unknown course, but we're on that journey as well. We are a community that reaches out in love and care. As the pile of stones that were here on the altar at the beginning of the service reminded us of our solidarity. We're together. And yet now we go our separate ways. And yet we are still one. We come together here on a Sunday morning. We come together for fellowship time. We gather as a place of strength and community. May 2023 be a time of learning, of loving, of caring, and of reaching out to this hurting world in which we live. May your Annus Horribilis, your horrible year, be behind you. And your Annus Mirabilis, your miracle year, your year of miracles, be in front of you. Amen. May it be so.
Thank you, Michael. There's a lot to think about. I can see that mine has a crack that's already smoothed over. And I managed to get something off my plate that's been bothering me for quite a few years yesterday, and I feel really good about it moving forward. This is going to be a good year. It does look like a heart, doesn't it? I thought that too. And it's smooth. So we got to share all that love we've got in our hearts and just keep moving it out there, right? Yeah. So I will be keeping my rock, and I promise not to throw it at anyone. Because I like it. All right. So just so you know, this is not indicative of our normal service. We will return to fully scheduled programming soon and take up our whole hour. But today we're going to start the new year off by finishing early. So let's extinguish this chalice. We extinguish this flame.
Not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together
again. Got that one right. And our closing music, I'm sure you all know this. We're only singing 3 little verses, not 6 or 27 or however many. So you may stand or sit. I'll leave it up to you. And let's start with should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and the days of old lang syne? For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll drink a cup of kindness yet, for sake of old lang syne. And surely you will buy your cup, and surely I'll buy mine. We'll take a cup of kindness yet, for the sake thank you, Robert Burns, for writing those words eons ago. It's an anonymous tune, but familiar, right? My closing words this morning are a prayer from Tim Atkins, who is a DRE and congregational life consultant that we actually met here when we did the Renaissance worship module like 2 or 3 years ago when Judith first came. It's really great. Anyway, may we be grounded in living our values in the coming year. May we all spread our wings to new heights in the coming year. May the fire of your commitment to your personal religious and ethical values burn brighter than before. And may we all be authentically ourselves in the coming year. And I would add, may we all be authentically ourselves together in the coming year, because our fellowship is important. So thank you. Let's have some coffee. Thank you to Amanda and Cam. Oh, yes, and we are going to follow Michael outside to the Memorial Garden. Yes. So, matches?